Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to learn how to create a 3D model in Maya from a 2D image plane. We're going to get two images and make that into a 3D sculpture. Read this, and here's the project overview. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to work in Photoshop. We're going to have two images, and then we're going to take those two images, we're going to stick them into Maya. Let's put them in show you Maya here. And if I can grab this and show you. So we have a shark there that we can sculpt, and then we can sculpt the shark from this way, and then from those two views we should be able to get a pretty decent looking shark. Okay, so then after that we're going to turn the sculpture into a cardboard sculpture. We're going to cut it out on the laser cutter in cardboard, and then also in Maya we're going to animate it to move or walk or do whatever it would do. Okay, read this. What is Maya? Take notes on this. Okay, by the way, whenever you see this, hit pause and do that. Okay, so you're going to find your two images of the same thing with a front and back view. The goal is to get images that seem to be taken from of the same thing at the same time, but from just two different views, the front and the side. Okay, so you're going to go in to the internet and you're going to find the shark that you like, right? And then you're going to right click on it and you're going to say save. Actually, you're going to click on it to make it bigger to get a better version of it, and you're going to save image as, and you're going to save it in your folder in your name on with your name on it in a new folder called Creative Computer Apps, in a new folder called 3D Design, and you're going to save it in a folder. I'd call my folder Shark, and then in a folder called Assets. Okay, so do this. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get a view of the shark from the front, and so it's helpful if you like, for example, if I got this shark with his mouth closed, I should have another shark with his mouth closed. So it should be like the same shark in the same time from just two different angles. Okay, but save those images, and then open Photoshop and make a new document. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to open up Photoshop. You're going to go File, New, right at the very top, and you're going to make it 11 by 8.5 or whatever you think it should be. That's the size of a piece of paper. That's pretty good. The resolution should be 72. We don't want it to have too many pixels because it'll waste resources and slow down Maya. So we're going to click OK. I've already done this. Okay, and so you'll get something that looks like this. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go File and Place, and you're going to search to your folder. So you're going to go through your folder. So you're going to go to the folder with your name on it, Creative Computer, 3D Design, and then there's my folder with my stuff on it, and then inside there's my assets folder, and then there's my, this isn't the one I'm actually going to use, but this one's good for discussion. So we're going to place it, and then you can resize it if you want. Okay, so you can hit shift and make it smaller so you can fit the front of the shark on there. Okay, and then hit enter. Okay, so now you can see that I have a background. Okay, I can turn that off, and then here's the layer that the shark's on. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is, let me get this out of the way and show you the next thing I want to do. Okay, so we've done all this. Okay, what is Photoshop? Photoshop is a raster-based image editor. Write this down. Okay, write that down, hit pause, and then I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. So if I take the zoom tool and I zoom in, you can see that there are lots and lots and lots of pixels because Photoshop only works with pixels. It just works with a bunch of little... Okay, so the only thing Photoshop does is it just deals with one little square thing at a time, and then, you know, after when it shrinks it down and then you can't see the pixels, it looks like a nice picture like that, right? Okay, so let's go back over here. Okay, so let's see what's next on the list here. Alright, so we already did this file place. Alright, so the eraser of destructive, write this down. The layer mask is non-destructive, write that down. Magic wand tool selects, write all those down. Okay, hit pause and write those down. Okay, so what we're going to do is this. So we could do this. We could go to the eraser tool. We got to rasterize our layer apparently. So let's rasterize our layer. You don't have to do that, I don't think, but okay, so we could go to this and you can erase stuff. The problem is those pixels are now gone. Okay, so if I turn my background off, you can see there's nothing there. I can't really get those back. Okay, so that's using the eraser tool is destructive. Same thing with the paintbrush. If I go through and paint it white, well, I've taken all those pixels, I've totally destroyed them, I've put a different color pixel there. So this is destructive editing. Okay, what I want to do instead is I want to click on that layer and I want to put a, wait for it, layer mask on. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw on the layer mask. So anything I draw on the layer mask is only temporary. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with my paintbrush, and if I draw with white, it erases stuff. Okay, and let's say, oh look, I erased my shark. Well, that's okay. I can switch it, and if I draw with black, it brings it back. So it's always non-destructive. Okay, so let's switch it back to white. So here's another thing you can do. So I can do this. Now watch. If I drag that into the trash can, and I want apply mask, I want to delete it. Okay, it's gone. Okay, everything from the mask was gone, so I'm going to go edit, undo, delete, so bring it back. Okay, so another tool we can use is the magic wand tool. It selects based on color. So it's going to select everything around me that's touching, that's the same color. Okay, and so if I hit shift, I can add to this selection, and I can add to it, right, and add, and then I can use my brush then, and I'll make my brush bigger. So I'll change the size to bigger, and the hard, I don't want it fuzzy. I can make it fuzzy or hard, I want it hard. So I go through, and it only works on the pixels that have been selected, and they were selected by color. Okay, so that I can use the magic wand tool, and then I can continue using the magic wand tool. I'll hit shift and keep adding to the selection. Okay, I want to make sure I don't get the teeth. I might erase my teeth there. Okay, so that looks pretty darn good. I missed one thing right there. Okay, so now I can use my paintbrush. I can paint it all white, and again I can. Oh, I missed one thing. Anyway, you can get that. Okay, so now I got to decide: do I want the white background or not? So I can turn it on or off. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is, I think that's it. So I'm going to go select, deselect, so I don't have a bunch selected. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go File, Place, and I'm going to add the front view. Okay, so I'm going to go Shark from the front view, and I'm going to click Place, and you can see he's on a separate layer, right? Yeah. And I've got to hit enter to get him there, and he's on a separate. So I'm going to do the same thing with him. I'll turn the shark off, and I'll get rid of all the stuff around him that I don't want. Okay, now this is what I want to end up doing here. Let's go back to the spiel. Okay. Okay, align the pictures. The pictures have to be the same size. Place them and resize them by pressing Control and T, and align them using the guides view new guide. Okay, so what they're saying is this. So I ended up working with a little bit of a project here, but so what you can see, I have this guy on this layer, I have this guy on this layer, and so what I did is I used Control T. So I went to this guy, I pressed Control T, and I got him about the size I wanted, right? So I hit shift to restrain the proportion, and I got him the size I wanted. Okay, I don't really want to do that. Okay, and then I use my guide. So I go view, and I said new guide, and I wanted a horizontal guide. I click OK. I'm going to use the move tool, and I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to put one here. I'm going to do it again and put one at the eyeball, one at the bottom. I could do it at the bottom of the fin, the top of the fin. Okay, so I put it at all the important points, right? And so then I go to this guy, and I press Control T, and then I make him the right size. I usually want to hit if I don't hold shift, I can make him too fat, too skinny, or too fat. But I hold shift and constrain it, and then I'm going to get the eyes lined up with the eyes, and I'm going to get the top of the shark lined up with the top of the shark. Okay, so I'm going to stretch him out a little bit. The bottom of the shark is about right. So I get them all lined up. All the important things are lined up. Okay, okay, we got that. Okay, next. Okay, crop and save as a GIF or a PNG so that we can use it in Maya. Okay, write this down, write this down, write this down. Okay, so what we're going to do is this. So I'm going to save my work. I got two sharks, right? I save this as shark front and side. Okay, if you never did that, make sure you do that File, Save, or Save As in your folder with your name on it. So we're going to go File, Save, okay, and you're going to save it in your folder with your name on it in a folder called Creative Computers, and a folder called 3D Sculpting, and a folder called Shark, or whatever yours is called, right? And then I want to save one just for him and one just for him, so I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to call it Shark just Front, okay? So I've already saved them both together, so okay, so Shark, what did I just do? Shark Front, okay, and I'm going to hit Save, okay, and click OK. You can't see it. All right. So then I'm going to crop this guy. So I'm going to crop him just to what I want. So you can see I got too much. I'm going to hit the space bar. I'm going to drag this over. I'm going to drag this up. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to crop the other guy out, and I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to save it in the same folder, Shark 3D Sculpture, and I'm going to call this Shark just Front. Okay, and then I'm going to hit Save, but I've already done it. Okay, and then you're going to go File, Open Recent, and open up the Shark Front and Side again. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to crop just this shark, hit the space bar to move it. Okay, drag it over, drag it back. Okay, and then once oh no, I have too much. I'll drag back up here. Okay, once I get there, I hit enter, and then I'm going to save this as go File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as Shark Side. Okay, then here's the important part. Then you go File, Save for Web and Devices, and that's going to save it as a GIF. Okay, and again, I'm going to hit done real quick. If you want no background, you can have a background or no background. If you want white, I'm going to say no. So I'm going to go File, Save for Web and Devices. I'm going to save it as a GIF. I hit Save, and then this one goes in my Assets folder. Okay, and you can see that the extension is a GIF. So you can see I saved the front shark and the side shark as separate images. Okay, I think that is it. Let me see here. What's next? Okay, that's it for now. The next video is going to show you what to do with them in Maya.